All right, my friends, how are you today? Michael Eschenburg here, bringing you some honest astrology about the new moon we're having here on December 12th, 2023, in the sign of Sagittarius. We've got a new moon happening as well. We have Mercury stationed retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. And we're getting ready for the solstice in 2023. We're wrapping up a lot of stuff. We've got in the next 2 weeks here Christmas, the holidays, Hanukkah, all of these things. And then a big fat full moon in Cancer. All right. And this Sagittarius, to me, this Sagittarius new moon is preparing us for the Capricorn sun and the moon down there in Cancer. So Sagittarius, let me show you the chart. Sagittarius is, of course, the mutable fire sign in the zodiac. Aries, our cardinal sign, and Leo, our fixed sign. So our mutable energy, which is going to be the weakest of the fire signs, going to be taken over by the strong cardinal Capricorn earth energy. So this weaker fire sign here is about information. Okay, there's our personal information and then global information, worldly information. The Sagittarius energy is represented by a centaur, the man body with the man top half with the horse legs, giving us the ability to run faster, go farther. There's no terrain that's going to stop us, be it mountains or rivers or whatever. You know, we can kind of seek and go wherever we need to gather the information that is necessary to help us expand on our journey, our vision, whatever it may be. And we see Mars here is also up in Sagittarius. Okay, so this new moon, new beginning in the sign of expansion, Sagittarius. Mars here as well. What all of this means with these three planets here, planet of course just means wanderer in Greek, the things that wander in the night sky. Okay, so our emotional well-being, our emotions, we need to expand. We need to explore emotions beyond that of which we know, right? We know our emotions. This is Gemini energy. This is about knowing self. This is the information that I'm aware of, the information that I know. And when we're so tunneled into small spaces, into this small concept of only I, only my perception is reality. We're painting ourselves in the corner. We're putting ourselves in a bad position, okay? Because we're not allowing ourselves the room to breathe. We're not allowing ourselves the opportunity to grow. We're not allowing ourselves the opportunity to learn something new, which is extremely important, to learn something new. It's like saying we have it all figured out. We have it all figured out, and the rest of the world is now responsible to figure out what we already know inside our own ego's mindset. And the energy of this particular new moon leading into this full moon, because this is a pretty powerful full moon coming up here, it's suggesting that we really need to expand our horizons. We really need to see how other people deal with problems, how other people across the world, around the globe, deal with humility, embarrassment, self-esteem, how they deal with learning a new skill, how do couples communicate around the world? How do couples resolve issues? How do men and women figure out the next step when they have a conflict? How do we resolve conflict between partners? How do we resolve conflict at work? How do we resolve conflict in the home? How do you resolve conflict with your children? How do you resolve conflict, right? Because we have aggression and assertiveness going in this direction, saying this is what I know is to be reality. This is how we do this. One foot in front of another. This is the tempo. We have to all be on that tempo. And if we're off that tempo, the band, the collective, can't stay on the rhythm. It means we're not going to be performing to give our message to the audience. The audience isn't going to be able to hear our message properly if we're not all syncopated. So we have to be willing to step outside of our own rhythm, our own, this is my tempo, this is the pace that I go, this is how I learn, this is where I'm going to. and really see how other people do things in the world. How does somebody else exercise their mind? How does somebody else exercise their body? How does somebody else express love? How does somebody else express affection? Okay, this is extremely important to seek outside of what we know at this point, to explore, maybe to learn something new. I feel bad sometimes for folks that aren't willing to step outside of their comfort zone. It's been something that I've been pressured into appreciating as a young Capricorn my whole life, that this is your circle of comfort, this is our comfort zone, and everything outside of that circle is where the joy comes from, the beauty comes from. You know, and in this particular space with all of this Sagittarius energy, it's really suggesting to us that what we know in our personal bubble is wonderful, but that there's a whole lot of world out there. Okay, this is really, really, really expressing us to learn how other people are doing other things on this planet, how other people are dealing with problems, how other people deal with their boss, how other people deal with, again, their children, their partner, their colleagues, their husband, their wife, their girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it may be. Okay, and then religion. Let's be honest here. This is religious. Religion kind of falls under the Sagittarius and Piscean energy. Okay, and Jupiter, of course, being here at only 6 degrees of Taurus. So Jupiter is the ruling planet of Sagittarius. And in Taurus, this is about material possessions in one way. This is about our security. Okay, and on the physical side of things, this is about our home. Do you have your home in order? You know, how are other people living around the world? We have, you know, tiny homes, and we have small communities, you know, communities of tiny homes, or we have large communities of large homes, or we have tribe life still exists in different areas of the world. Or if it's not a mansion, I don't want to live in it. It's beneath me. If it's not a 25,000 square foot mansion on the water, it's not going to fulfill my needs. I want more material goods, more material possessions. And then Uranus being right here. It's not a conjunction, but nonetheless, they're still occupying the same space in space, you know, which is about breakthroughs. This is like, do you really need this? I do a lot of studying. This is slightly off topic, but I do a lot of studying on like relationships, because I find them very fascinating. I find them very interesting, and especially here in North America, on what women want, love, desire, on what people, because I feel that people need to come together. And I feel such a separation, or I see such a separation between men and women right now. And that breaks my heart. So I read a lot of this stuff, and one of the things that I found was really interesting, and I read this, there was watching this interview the other day, is, you know, like for women, it's just like the guy has to be over 6'2", 6'1", whatever, this tall, has to make this much money, has to, you know, be this slight of body, gender, or body fit, was, you know, you have to hit these certain things, and I think there is a fair amount of these are necessity, you know, like we have to be attracted to our partner, we have to have certain things. And then when it comes over to like the guys, it was just like guys didn't really care how much money the woman made, guys didn't really care how tall the woman was. Fitness was certainly played in a role in both genders, both sexes. I don't know how to PC walk around that one right now, but you know, it's really interesting. So it's like we set this idea out there of this is the only thing that I'm willing to settle for. I'm not willing to settle for less of this. This is, you know, my abundance and these things that I want and desire in my life. And it's just really fascinating how we've become so fixated on material goods and material possessions. It's unhealthy. We're at an unhealthy balance with our fixation on material goods and material possessions, which is why Uranus and Jupiter down there, or over there, up there, whatever. Again, the zodiac is upside down and backward. So up there in Taurus right now, it's just like, yeah, we need a home, we need security, but like, what do you really, really need? How do you know, what we need is love. A lot of times what we need is someone to support us. We need love. But that's okay. This is part of our personal journey into discovery. What is it that we need? What is it that brings us joy? Jupiter is about joy as well. Okay, so this energy is joyous energy. What brings us joy in this life? And are we seeking out those things that bring us joy? And maybe what this energy is suggesting, and why Mercury is stationed retrograde here, is saying, this is what I thought I wanted. And now I've received that which I thought I wanted. And my emotional fulfillment isn't in alignment with what I thought it was going to be. Okay, so I wanted this thing my whole life. I wanted the Ferrari, the Lamborghini. I never wanted a Ferrari. I did want a Lamborghini. I did want a Lamborghini at one point in time. I got Lamborghini. I don't have a Lamborghini. I got Lamborghini, and now it's just a car. It's just a car that's the same as my Ford Tempo, with a little bit cooler of an inside. You know, goes a little faster. Did it really make me a better, happier individual? Did it make my daily life better? Did I get to work faster? Did I, you know what I mean? Like, what part of me is this fulfilling? Oh, the way I drove down the street and people looked at me, a complete stranger who they don't know or don't care about, they were impressed. And that feeling of impressed really made me feel good about myself. No, I don't care. You know, so it's just like, does that thing, the material possession, the material thing that I wanted in life, that I thought would bring me this joy, this abundance, this peace, this state of mind, this state of being, the status quo, did it get me there? Did it get me what I wanted? And if the answer is no, okay, good. Save yourself a couple bucks. Find out what matters. Find out what brings joy to your being. Find out what brings joy to your heart. And it might not be what everybody else wants, which is extremely important. And I think it's also important to, like, almost going back, and I just read this, thing about, like, kindergartners. You ask kindergartners about science. You start talking about science. You're talking about the earth and the sun and the moon, and kids are going to ask all kinds of crazy questions. How old is the earth? And, why is the grass green? And why is the sky blue? And where do toes come from? And stuff like this. Kids ask all these interesting and unique questions. And then you get to the 12th grade, and then all of a sudden those kinds of questions are silly, stupid. They don't mean anything. They don't care anymore. So somewhere along the line of those 12 years in education, we stopped caring, or stopped inquiring, stopped being inquisitive about all of these things that once brought us this bubbless joy inside that was just like of wonder and what could it be. And then we get pigeonholed and shoved into these little categories and and it's cookie cutter. We're going through the motions of life. So this energy is suggesting, what are you doing? Why? And then we got Saturn up here too, right? This is really cool. So Saturn is making these connections here with Chiron. The North Node in Aries. You have to go your own way, my friends. Saturn is saying, I'm the boss. I'm the boss of this physical reality. Here I am seeking out, exploring my spirituality. I'm exploring the non-physical, and Saturn rules the physical. It's a very interesting place for Saturn to be. But Saturn has to come in here and sew up what Neptune has been unraveling here for 14 years. Saturn is the law and order, and Neptune is saying, well, we don't need any of this order. We don't need any of these laws. We don't need any of this. And Saturn's saying, oh my God, look what's happening. Okay, prime example of this. There's a country, this is like, boom, came through like a freaking lightning bolt just now. There's a country that said, well, what if we don't put the law on drugs anymore? Let's not put the law on drugs anymore. Let's allow drugs to be free, or not free, but at least be, if you want to go buy drugs, go buy drugs. Seek out what you want, buy it. Have fun, explore your own consciousness, okay? I don't know what country this is, and because I wasn't planning on talking about it, it's not in my arsenal right now, okay? This is an intuitive thing to come through as we're talking about this. The country is turned to crap, okay? There's people in the streets wasted all the time. It's not a good look. It was a good intention, but then what happened to the society afterward is a plummet. Okay. And we can see the similar things happening here in the United States. I can't talk about the entire rest of the world, where it's just like we're having so much these interesting freedoms and liberations that we don't want rules. We don't want these structures and orders that we once had, and we want to have, okay, well, there's no discipline. There's no discipline. There's no this. We don't want to, you know, everybody gets a participation trophy. Everybody gets a banana sticker. Everybody gets an A plus. And we're seeing the very real consequences from that. Okay, it's like we're going to hurt people's feelings. Like, you're going to hurt people's feelings. That's a fact. If you do good at the race and somebody else finished last place, their feelings might be hurt. It might not be because you did good, and you don't have to rub it in their face, but it might be because of their own self-esteem, you know? And they would say, "Oh no, it's okay, Billy or Janie or whatever. Here's your participation trophy. You did great." And of course, yeah, we need some sort of support. We need some sort of like let's motivation and don't give up kind of energy. Like, oh well, you're last place. You're always gonna be last place. So there you go. There's no point in trying. That's not the energy that we're needing. That's not what we're talking about here. But we're going to, you know, the brighter light you cast, the greater of a shadow you're going to cast as well. So we're going to hurt people's feelings, and there's this kind of like numbing down right now. There's a bit of like spiritual numbingness, and we can't be upset about anything. Nothing can create an emotional wave within our being, and if so, that's because you're not in balance with your emotions. And then you can't be upset with me because I've either said something completely vulgar and off-putting to you that is you know, I think words, you know, they say words, 6 stones break bones, but words could never hurt me. I don't believe that at all. Like, I think our words are very, very powerful, and our words not only hit the physical, but they really get up into the mental sometimes and can really create messes and plant seeds in people's minds and really hurt people. Drifting here a bit, but it's important that it's okay. We're going to hurt people's feelings every now and then. It's not the intention, it's not the goal that we want to hurt people's feelings, but by doing this bypassing, like, oh, we can't do that because of this. I can't make this rule because that's going to hurt somebody's feelings, or I can't hold on, let me see. I just actually saved something, and I'm gonna find this on my phone for 2 seconds, and I'm gonna repeat this back to you because I find this quite in alignment. All right, here we go. New Age spirituality is a colonialist implant and the collective conscious to trap and neuter awakening souls into being more passive in the face of tyranny. It promotes disembodiment and disassociation while extinguishing the ancient flame of sacred rage under the guise of it being low vibe. All right, that is prime and primal. It's just like saying, no, you're a spiritual person. You're an awakened soul. You're somebody who practices yoga and practices breath work and entheogens and shamanism, whatever it may be. And it's like, you're not allowed to be upset. That's like telling the earth, Mother Earth, you provide everything for us. Everything from the clothes that we're wearing to the roofs over our head to the silicon in our computers and these microchips and lenses and all this crazy stuff. So you can't quake anymore. You can't have earthquakes anymore. You can't have natural disasters anymore, Mother Earth. You can't have hurricanes. You can't have tornadoes and typhoons. You can't have, these natural disasters, Mother Earth, because all these people are relying on you and you're providing all of these things for them. And it's just showing that Earth isn't really woke after all. It's just like, what? What kind of delusions is this? We have to pay attention, not only to what's happening around the world, but throughout history. That's something else that's coming through with this Sagittarius energy right now, is just like throughout history. How did people throughout history deal with the problems that we are dealing with? We are not the first ones to deal with these problems. We might be the first ones to deal with technology this way. That might be unique to us, but it's all the same story repeating time and time again, just slightly different variations. And we're just happen to be the age of Aquarius, the technologically advanced, ones. So it's time to look outside of our comfort zone, take the time, Mercury and Capricorn to really figure it out, okay? Earth is a slow moving process. It takes a long time to move mountains, to create and form Earth. Don't expect to plant this seed and it to grow into a sequoia or a redwood overnight, okay? Give ourselves the opportunity during this time to explore ourselves, to explore our emotions. And I'm going to tell you right now, this Cancer full moon, I'm not going to take long to come back and talk about it. I'm not going to do it on the day of the Cancer full moon because this is extremely powerful. I don't want to talk about it right now because I feel like I've already given you quite a bit of information today on like what these planets are trying to talk to us about. But this Cancer full moon is extremely potent and very powerful. So there's a lot to do in these next 2 weeks with our emotions, okay, and preparing our physical body, our mind is a very physical mind, but it also exists in the non-physical. Yeah, air, fire, water. Earth is our physical. So our minds are changing right now. Be patient with ourselves. Give us opportunity to grow. Keep watering the seed. Keep allowing it to grow. All right? We don't want to just say, I'm going to change my mind and I'm going to try to do this other thing. I saw how somebody else did it this way. I've been convinced of something like this. This isn't all right. With cognitive dissonance and the reticular activation system, these both point out to one crossroad here is once I'm convinced of something, you cannot convince me otherwise. Like you cannot convince me Jesus was a real person on this planet. It's the sun. I'm saying that as an honest S-U-N, the sun that lights the world. It'd be very, very, very challenging for someone to tell me, like really convince me that it was a real person. Like with as much research and studies that I've done, it just wasn't a real person. And that's okay. It's a personified allegory, right? Now, my personal view of that is very small, right? The majority of the world believes in Christianity. Like a huge chunk of the world believes in Christianity and believes that Jesus Christ was a person, was a real man that walked this earth and that lived and died and 3 days later rose again. And it's like, okay, we know that this is we're talking astrology here. We know that this is the story of the sun. The sun dies in the solstice and returns again, rises north and dies again and comes back and all of this. We know, I'm guessing you're familiar with astrotheology if you're watching my channel. Now, to accept that information, we have to step outside of what we believe is a fact, okay? So if I were to really engage with someone and they were to say, Aaron, I want to talk to you about Jesus, and I'm going to bring forth my whole arsenal of knowledge and wisdom and my entire life's work of knowing and factualizing that this is a real man that really walked this earth, okay? I would, without a question of a doubt, have to set aside my beliefs. It's a must. Because if I have the core to my beliefs saying Jesus is the personification of the sun, okay, if I will never give room for information to enter my skull because I'm going to hear it and it's just going to dissipate. Okay, this is where cognitive dissonance and the reticular activation system kick in because I've made a firm belief, and now you're talking to me, and it's nothing. This is people talking about the patriarchy and all of this stuff. It's just like we have all these people having these arguments with one another, but rarely are people willing to take that wall down and say, I'm willing to listen to you. I'm willing to take your side if you share something with me that does indeed spark whatever that thing is that makes me go, aha, right? We don't know what that thing is until we hear it. But we'll never experience that aha if we always have that wall up. If we always have, well, you're really going to have to convince me here. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be willing to have the conversation, but I'd have to, without a question of a doubt, set aside my beliefs and just fully listen. So that's where we're at. That's where we're going to end this. Like, in order to change our mind of something, we have to say, I was wrong, or I'm willing to say that my belief system was wrong. My belief system is wrong, right? That's hard. How old are you? That is a difficult thing to do, to be like, hey, I'm going to be 41 on the 29th of December, right? You'd be like, I'm 41 years old. I was wrong. For years of my life, I was wrong about something. And now I have to I'm not going to beat myself up for being wrong. I'm going to say, okay, and learn and try to step into that place of knowing, that this new place of learning, this new place of growth and understanding. Okay, so this is what our Sagittarius energy is about this year in 2023. It's a bit of unraveling. It's trying to find joy. It's trying to put the pieces together. It's seeing how cultures, civilizations around the world have done it before us. It's trying to figure out, is there information on how somebody dealt with something? Is there information out there that's going to help me? And if so, am I willing to put aside my personal beliefs or my personal convictions to allow this new information in, to really allow myself to expand, to allow my joy to expand, to allow my life to be bigger, better, healthier, happier down here on planet Earth with myself and with everybody that surrounds me. Won't be long, friends. I will be back. We're going to be talking a lot about this Cancer full moon coming up here. There's a lot of good energy. I love you. I wish you enough. We'll see you soon.